In our previous lessons, we said a necessary existent by definition does not depend on anything, and it does not have a cause for its existence, and it must be the first cause for all dependent existences. For example, where did this turtle come from? It came from this turtle. What about this turtle? It came from this turtle. What about this turtle? It came from this turtle. This has to stop somewhere. Now, wherever it stops at, it must not have been created, otherwise it would not be necessary. Now we know that a necessary existent does not require anything to bring it to existence. It also does not require a cause to continue its existence, otherwise it will be dependent. Now we have proven that it has no beginning and no end. If it had a beginning, it would have been caused by something else. If it had an end, some cause was keeping it alive. Remember, a necessary existent does not require anything. For example, the Big Bang Theory at one stage did not exist, and then it came into being, so it had a beginning. Then the Big Bang stopped to exist, therefore it had an end. Because it has a beginning and an end, it cannot be a necessary existent. A necessary existent also cannot be compound and made up of parts, because they are dependent on each other. For example, atoms are made up of protons, neutrons, and electrons, and they all depend upon each other. Therefore, they cannot be necessary, because they all need each other. Remember, a necessary existent does not need or require anything. Another example, a human being is made up of molecules, and they all depend on each other to exist. The body is dependent on oxygen, hydrogen, and carbon to exist. Therefore, we cannot see a necessary existent because it is not physical and has no parts. A necessary existent cannot be subject to space, as space describes something that has weight, or a body. The body depends on particles. A necessary existent does not depend on anything. A necessary existent also cannot be subject to time. Time can be divided into intervals. Let's say 5 minutes can be broken up into 1 minute pieces. We can now have a beginning for that 1 minute and an end for that 1 minute. A necessary existent does not have a beginning or an end. So what is a necessary existent? In our previous lessons, we talked about the proof of God the outer way. We see that the universe must have been created by an intelligent creator with its precise order and infinite knowledge. It must have been caused by a necessary being. That necessary being is God.